So, good evening. Uh, this is my channel, and this series is one of the series that began, not first began on YouTube, the first year. I think it's been about 2.5 years, and this is called today, Deleted Ancestral History. Okay, I am the host and also the creator. So, today the topic is called Unequal Justice. Okay, for most of this nation's history, raping a woman of color just was simply not a crime. Laws prevented the prosecution of any offender, the rapist, for the rape of an enslaved woman. Laws was unfaithful of the rapist. Okay. The next is for most of our nation's history, it was not a crime to rape a woman of color, and few places where the rape of a woman of color was technically criminalized. Rules of procedure prevented women of color from testifying about their victimhood. Now, uh, each time I am doing a topic um, by the person upstairs, yes, my topics come from him, not from me. I'm giving him the glory. I learned a lot, things that I was not privy to. These things I didn't realize growing up that this was what was going on. So um, I'm glad I am doing this, and I hope my channel and this series will help a lot of people that did not and do not know this history with the United States or people of color because I did not know. So we will continue. The prosecution rates for rape of a woman of color. These victims are unrevalued, whereas their counterpart is valued, and her case is most likely prosecuted. But the woman of color, when they are very strong and have the courage to come forward, if there is a person, a European man, that did the rape in the past, and even the present, they're usually not prosecuted. They are let go. I just get a slap on the hand. And that comes from the history from the woman of being enslaved, and then the Reconstruction, the era of the person You all call them white, I call them European, uh, people of no color. Uh, these men was let go that even though the woman of color had the courage to come forward. Uh, a lot of times there would be reprisals of this woman, and it wasn't good. So I will go on and continue with this. And I have examples of things that happen in history that you can look up yourself. And there are a lot more of these cases will come up that happen to women of color in time. Lots more. Uh, some was reported, and a lot more was not, more than you can imagine. Women of color seeking to assert their right of citizenship and freedom after emancipation face dangers based on their race and sex, just as they had for generations. Okay? While enslaved, women of color were killed in the same uh, lynching and massacre that took lives of the men of color. But they were also likely to suffer victimization. Sexual. Okay, let's see. But suffer the trauma of sexual violence from these men. Convicted of murder and lynched for killing. Now, this is an example of a enslaved girl, and her name was Sylvia, and this happened in 1855, and she had no rights. Convicted of murder and lynched for killing a European man for holding her for days and raping her over and over. The court rejected her claim for self-defense, concluding that enslaved women had no right to resist their slave owners' sexual advances. I have to be honest. Whenever I do the research, uh, ancestral research, not that enrages me more than the sexual impropriety of the slave owners during enslavement and Reconstruction, and even further. I don't understand it, and it makes me very angry. Uh, the U.S. did not protect their female women of color during the time. And it would now, I do not feel safe in the United States, to be honest, because I do not feel that America has done, I know they didn't in the past, to protect the women of color from European men. And I don't think they're that they do enough even now. I do not feel safe and I worry about my daughter. But so far, the good Lord has protected my daughter and myself. But I do not trust him in these things. So let me continue. Unjust laws for women of color. Uh, Europeans of the South were determined to maintain the economic exploitation and political dominance they had enjoyed during slavery. And European men refused to relinquish their freedom to violate women of color with impunity. Even before the Civil Wars ended, Southern state legislatures implemented laws providing different sexual protections to European women and women of color, specified a mandatory sentencing range for raping a European woman, but let courts decide whether and how to punish rapes for women of color. This was in Georgia Code of 1861. Unjust, unjust laws. Okay, let's see. Uh, Woman of color abolitionist Maurice Stewart, 1830, called for the law to recognize women of color as full humans with the rights to control their bodies and or to grant or withhold consent. Nevertheless, reality lagged far behind. Okay, this next area is Empath by scholar Estelle Friedman writes, European people depended that depended that the, deepened the associations of rape as an act committed by a man of color against European women during Reconstruction and presumed that women of color either welcomed forced sexual relations with European men or had no moral purity to defend. The same European men who professed a fanatical concern for their women, so-called purity and safety held tightly to the social and legal view of the women of color. This is a myth that still holds true. As promic- promi- promiscuous, lacking virtue, and without the right to refuse the lust of any European man. Hmm, I can believe this really was a right. It's difficult to believe that the United States did this. And yes, he deserves reparations. Yes. Okay. These are case history examples. Uh, E.C. Taylor, 1944, is gained raped by 6 European men. Uh, they were never brought to justice by the law. Miss Taylor died in 2017 at the age of 97. She was a mother and she was gang raped by 6 so-called white called Europeans. I said that right. Racial differences shielded European men from shame and consequence when they employed sexual assault as yet another means of assaulting a woman of color. He tried the case himself, jailed the woman, oh, this was a judge, jailed the woman overnight and forced her husband to pay for fees. This is when this woman uh, who, uh, had the strength to report a sexual assault. And this person was judged. Okay. In 1866, another example, and you can look these things up. Uh, more rapes happened to women of color that was reported uh, on file. Okay. 1866, Virginia, Peggy Rich, a woman of color named Peggy Rich, reported that a European man named James Smith had assaulted her. He attacked Miss Rich again after he was released on bail. Oh God. And was later acquitted. Goodness gracious. Oh, this makes me very angry. Later acquitted of those charges. And on this finish. Hmm. In summation, there are so many examples on file that shows the horrors of European men upon women of color. The details of so many attacks was too upsetting to publish for the Congressional Committee. Uh, Even fear of reprisal of the European men, women of color stood defiantly and reported their rapes. So many women of color exhibited in reports in such attacks stand as enduring evidence of the sexualized terror upon women of color suffered during Reconstruction, enslavement, and still, and even now, and still their determination to to survive was strong. Okay, let's see. Here's some statistics. Okay. Uh, okay. Sources estimate 58% of enslaved women aged 15 to 30 years old were sexually assaulted by their slave owners and others. This persisted during the Reconstruction period. And further on, the statistics now for this for women uh, for assaults that did by your opinion is less. Like you saying, I should have looked it up. Uh, let me check it out now. The statistics, I did look it up. These are good. Ah, okay. Looking at, oh, just this. Let's see here. Um, let's see. Okay, here it is. Um, let's see. For every woman of color who reports rape, at least 15 women of color do not report. 1 in 4 little girls of color, 1 in 4 now, will be sexually abused before will be sexually abused. With a 35% of women of color experience some form of contact sexual violence during their lifetime. Okay? And 1 in 4 the girls of color will be sexually abused before the age of 18. So, and this, according to the U.S. Department of Justice, 1 in 5 women of color are survivors of rape. Oh, so that's statistics on rape for women of color. So, my thoughts on this is I can't really say them out loud. And some of the things that I'm thinking right now, uh, as a spiritual person, is devastating. Uh, I do not understand the disparity between with the law and everything in America between the people of color and the non-people of color. And it's better, but it's not where it should be at this time, 2023. And the reparations should have been done years and years ago. And as the U.S. wait, and pay other countries reparations and help with them. I won't name these countries' names right now. Uh, I would say it's not bad because all of the things are horrible and the things that my ancestors went through and not just the ancestors, but people that are living now went through hard. Uh, me, for example. Uh, and we lived through it. We're strong spiritual people. But uh, many of us, I would say all of us, have PTSD. Uh, and the non-color people wonder why we react the way that we do. It's because the psychological damage done to genetics and DNA, uh, and the change in our DNA into genetics have come down from our ancestors to our genetics. And people of color, a lot of us don't realize this, but it's true. But something can be done if they allow themselves to say yes. Yeah. And they can get through that. Okay. And there are many things, usually that people specialize in this help. Uh, my challenge is for one, if you decide to ask for help. But damage has been done, and it's much more explicit, and it's a continuous thing, whereas things that other nations have been through, the people of color in this country, we went through decades. Not years, but decades. What is it, over 200 years or more of these horrors that was brought on us by the Europeans. uh, and that like the other countries that specialize in slavery, uh, and so forth, and still are. For example, uh, you can tell that they were not skin color, that this was following these rapes and sexual. I am a product of these rapes. All my female ancestors are by European slave masters and, and other people, other men. Uh, and this is what makes me so angry now, because you can look at me and know uh, I am multi-ethnic. Yeah, multi-ethnic. Um, and this comes from different countries, not just one. I think it's probably like, uh, I have my ancestral DNA good, and I think it's like, when I look back and look up things, uh, it's about, I don't know, five, six ethnicities, ethnicity in my DNA. So if you ask me what I am, I'm multi-ethnic. You can see that. So before I get to the end and weekly and stuff like that, I am going to close that. Hope this information and research have helped a lot of people, not just people of color, but all people. So thank you for watching, and please watch it to the end and share, like, and thank you for supporting me. And till the next time, this is the deleted ancestral history. Thank you, and take care of yourself and each other. And please pass this information on. Good night.